Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today is the day that we are going to make the hanging baskets that we sell here at the Retail Garden Center at Creekside Nursery in Dallas, North Carolina, a Zone 8A. Yes, it is the end of January, and that is when hanging baskets get made here at the nursery. Yesterday, we had another fantastic, our largest delivery of Proven Winner annuals thus far at one time from our friends at Pleasant View Gardens in Loudon, New Hampshire. Your Proven Winner annuals, they come from two greenhouses, either PBG in New Hampshire or 4-Star Greenhouses in Michigan. These came from PBG in New Hampshire. Lenny was the one who brought these sweet babies to us. If you're familiar with this process of us going ahead and getting these Proven Winner liners potted up and ready to go for retail and garden, the online, then you are probably familiar with Lenny. He is a fantastic driver. We love a good truck driver, and Lenny is the absolute best. He is the creme de la creme, and so we were so happy to see him come in. Had a ton of plants, 25,000. And so, oh my gosh, today we're gonna focus on doing the hanging baskets and then the rest of those annuals for the garden center. Let me show you some of these beauties that arrived yesterday. Everybody is busy at work. Mimi's over there popping the liners so that way they are ready to go. We're gonna do the hanging baskets first, but everything that you see in this bay, these are going to be all for the online store. So that first round of annuals for the online store, and y'all, we have got some amazing things. We have got grasses back there. Look at the begonias. This is where Brenna is right now. She's sniffing them for some reason. These are the Selenias right here. Oh my gosh, like we have the Selenia yellow that has a couple of little buds. We've got Selenia apricot. Look at the foliage for the Selenia chocolate orange. As Cece said yesterday, even if it didn't flower, the foliage alone is stunning on this plant. So we've got those, we have got begonias, we've got impatiens, we have got evolvulus, our sweet little blew my mind, one of our favorite plants. These flowers are so fun because they open and close with the sun. So since it is nice and early in the morning, they have closed and they will be opening shortly. Tons of super bells right there. We have got, oh my gosh, I said we're in super bells right here. We've got sunflowers, we've got guara, we've got coleus, the Acapulco impatiens are right here. Look at the coleus though. I always love when the coleus arrives because it looks like this beautiful patchwork quilt. So you name it, we have got it, y'all. Look at all those beautiful colors. All of these will go into grande size cups. That is from, of course, the Proven Winners. That's the typical size for your annuals from Proven Winners. Sweet potato vine, they are in here. Lantana, got lots and lots of lantana. This is, I want to say, I can't see the tag, but this might be the mahogany sweet potato vine. Isn't that beautiful? Lovely colors. Salvias, so I see lots of salvias in here. Those are those nice big leaves right here. So that we've got the salvias. Right next door is the portulacas. Osteos, lemon coral, sedum, and then I think most of these are over here going to be lots of petunias, pentas, more lantana, verbena. Y'all love the pink cashmere as much as we do. And I think the vast majority of this whole entire area right here is all the Superbena pink cashmere because, yeah, she is super, super popular and rightly so. Our folks have everything lined up. So these two racks have the liners for the hanging baskets. So these are what we call the mono baskets. So that means there's the same plant, multiples of the same plant in the hanging basket. So for example, this is the Supertunia Mini Vista Indigo. So this is what we call a liner, and this is a beautiful, healthy liner. And so we're going to put in the mono baskets, we're going to put 4 of these guys in a 10-inch hanging basket. Get them nice and full and thick. So we've got 4 of these per pot So we've got that Mini Vista Indigo, we've got Mini Vista White, we've got Bubblegum, we've got Pink, I think we've got Jazzberry, all sorts of things. We've got some Super Bells up here, Over Easy, Dreamsicle, Yellow. So those will be the mono baskets. Then over here where Amber is, we've got the combinations, and these are recipes that Proven Winners has developed. We buy them as a recipe, and so this is Living on the Edge. We've done this one for years, super popular, and so you've got 3 different plants in that hanging basket. And Proven Winners has created these containers, these recipes, so that these plants all have the same growing conditions. They will behave really well together and just grow and do a gorgeous mixed container. So this one has Super Bell's Dreamsicle, Supertunia Really Red, and I think that's Supertunia Royal Velvet. So we've got that one. Then down here, we've got one for the shade. This is Eclipse of the Sun. You have got the Chocolate Drop Coleus. You have got the Tropical Shades Double Impatience. And then I think this is Bewitched Green with Envy. Let me see, it'll tell me on here. No, Sweetheart Lime. So this will be a great shade container. They too are going to go into those 10-inch hanging baskets. And then what Mimi was doing is getting them all popped out, because if you've watched us, you know they do so much, it goes so much faster when we can have them popped out. So you just have to keep them separated. So this one is Rock and Rush, and this is a really fun one because it's got the Goldilocks Rocks Bidens. It's got the Mini Vista Violets, no, Raspberry Rush, sorry. And then, sorry, yeah, that's Raspberry Rush. And then the Super Beano Whiteout. So that's a combo, and we've got one more. This was a really pretty one, very popular. Misty Seas. These are all Mini Vista Indigos. So Mini Vista Indigo, Mini Vista Violet Star, Mini Vista White. So these are all separated out. In those recipes, you will get 2 liners of each. So 2 Indigo, 2 Violet Star, 2 Mini Vista Whites go into that hanging basket. The preparation and the setup makes everything go so smoothly. So this part is what quote takes, can be some of the most tedious and the longest, but this is setting us up for success. So what we're going to do with the hanging baskets, I'll actually show it to you when it's in process, but okay, good. Oh, Cece has a hanging basket. So what she's going to do is whoever is feeding the pots on the other end of the conveyor on the potting machine will feed those baskets right beside each other, like they're going to be touching, and they're going to come down the red conveyor. They're going to hit this turn, and then they're going to come on this conveyor. And because we don't have hanging baskets in the production house, what we're going to do is they go into the 2 houses up here. So we've got this long line of conveyors going all the way up to production 2, which is directly in front of me. So they're going to go in, and we're going to have these conveyors filled, I mean, just back to back with the hanging baskets. Once that very first hanging basket that came off the line, once it reaches all the way up here to the end of the conveyors, we're going to stop, turn everything off, and then we will go ahead and get everything potted up. Conveyor stops. We get out all of the plants. So we meticulously, not mixing anything up, very methodically go through, and we'll plant all the hanging baskets that from in front of me all the way down the line, all the way back to the potting machine. We will plant those. Then we will hook the hangers onto the pots. That's probably the quote worst part of the hanging baskets, is putting the metal hooks onto the baskets, but it's not that bad, especially when you have a lot of people doing it. We'll get all those done. Then once they're all done, we will first start, it'll be kind of a stop and start. I don't know if we'll just carry most of them, or if we'll turn the conveyors on super slow. We'll have to have somebody tall, AKA Jerry, in here, because here in the greenhouse, if you see all those little white lines that are hanging from the ceiling, those are drippers. So that's the irrigation drippers. And so all of those drippers will have a hanging basket on them. So they'll come right here on the purlins. Jenny is short and cannot reach them. They're kind of a double stacked. I don't know if you can see where some of them have like the hooks, and then the other ones will go straight onto the purlins. So at the end, hopefully even by lunchtime, this greenhouse will be completely filled with hanging baskets. It is a glorious sight to be seen. So we'll start in this greenhouse and then we'll go over to production 1. Fill that greenhouse, and we're also going to go ahead and take some down to the retail garden center, because the garden center down there has the same setup as here, where the hooks and then the drippers, so we can have them there. I believe Jerry said there's 567, quite an odd number, 567 hanging baskets that we're producing this year. Those of you that are local customers who come here who know the hanging baskets, we decided this year just to put them in that 10-inch hanging basket, that green pot, and not do any of the larger cocoa lined baskets. Last year they just didn't sell as well. People weren't as excited about them, and so we kind of, as a business owner, as a grower, you have to kind of listen and observe what the buying patterns are. What do your customers want? They didn't really seem to want those bigger baskets last year, so that's why we went ahead and switched and did them all in the 10-inch this year. So we're going to continue to get everything going. Once we get things moving, I'll meet you back here and I'll show you the process. We are in the middle of getting the hanging baskets all put together, so I thought I would take a break from putting hangers on to pop on here and kind of show you the process. So as you can see, the entire conveyor belt is filled with the hanging baskets, and the team is working quite lovely. We are taking full advantage of this sunny, dry, slightly warm day, and I say slightly warm, it is supposed to get like 65 today, I don't know. So it's perfect weather to do this. So let me walk you through the whole process and show you what all the different jobs are. We're kind of working in little groups here. So Mimi and Debbie went ahead and planted up this recipe, and so you can see that here, oh, perfect, Mimi. She's just my little Vanna for today. This is living on the edge. So in this recipe, you can see that we've got the 2 dreamsicles and we plant them across from each other. I know they're dreamsicles, super bells, because they've got little smaller leaves compared to the petunia that is a bigger leaf. Now, I don't know if this is really red or royal velvet, but I know these are 2 super petunias. When they were planting them, we always plant across from each other. So we've got dreamsicle, dreamsicle, and then this is going to be the same petunia, and this is the same petunia. So they are doing that. Do that first, and you do it very methodically, and then you come back through and you put the hangers on. We like to use the metal hangers. Personally, I just think aesthetically, I like metal hangers the way they look, because when the basket is nice and full, the hangers really disappear, as opposed to the plastic hooks. To me, I don't like the look of them. So we use the metal hooks. The downside of the metal hooks is that you have to actually hook them on. They don't snap in like some of those plastic ones do. So one, when you put them in, these are a 3-strand hanger. One, you want to make sure that up here, this is not twisted, because if you don't make sure that all 3 of them kind of separate into a triangle, they can get twisted. And then as you come down, then there are holes already in the pot, and we put them in there. So like that's what Mimi has already done. She's already put hers in the hole. And then if you notice here on the hangers, see how they have that little notch right there? That tells you the planting, the depth as far as where you go ahead and flip it over. So all you have to do is flip it over. You don't have to twist it. I was telling Amber when we first started doing hanging baskets, we thought you had to twist them like a twisty tie, but you don't. You just simply throw them in the hole. Mimi's got them nice and separated. She's popping them in there. And then you just find that little notch and you flip it over. So she just bends it over, boom, and that's it. So when we first started, we were twisting them. So we were like flipping them up and then twisting them. Dear heavens, by the end of the day, our fingers were so sore. Hooking them like this makes it perfect. And those little notches ensure that the baskets are hanging evenly. And so one, the basket is not uneven when it's hanging. And then 2, when you look at the greenhouse, they'll all be at the same height. Everybody gets a hanging tag on it. Unfortunately though, we only got half the tags. So we'll get them, but it's just kind of a bummer for today because it's not quote all the way done. So what Cece has done is gone through, and these are old perennial tags that we had extras. And so she wrote on the back what the combo is. Once we then get the hanging tags, then we can go ahead and get them attached to there. You might notice that there is a bit of a gap here between the baskets. That is because we have the work truck here, and we're going to take a little bit of everything down to the retail garden center. So Cece did the math, and basically it's like 8 or 9 per type of hanging basket. Went ahead and put them onto the truck. We'll take them down there and hang them up. So that is the deal here while we have the gaps. On the containers that have the very obvious ones, as far as the difference, it makes it really easy, right? So you got your 2 color blazes across from each other, your 2 sweet potato vines, and then your 2 Rocapucos here. We got 3 of the 4 recipes done, and then after that, we're gonna move to the mono baskets. We have these set out right here. When you see 2 trays back to back to each other, typically that means then we had 2 sets of those. Mono baskets, same plant, but multiples of that plant. So we have Mini Vista Indigo is right here. The ever beloved bubblegum there in the center. Then we have Jazzberry. We have the Bermuda Beach, which makes a fabulous, gorgeous hanging basket. One of my all-time favorites, Mini Vista White. Then we go into Mini Vista Hot Pink, and then the Super Bells. We've got Tropical Sunrise, which is a great popular one. We have the Holy Moly. We have Yellow, and we have, who is this? Oh, Lemon Slice. Jackson loves Lemon Slice. We have Dreamsicle, classic Clemson Orange. And then for those that like lighter colors, we have Over Easy. Once we get all of the other hangers on here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start the conveyors again, nice and slow, right? We don't need anything crazy fast, nice and slow. They'll go up, we'll hang them up into greenhouse 2, get those hung up in there. As the new recipes come along, we will grab 9 of those, stick them in the truck. Yep, the truck, so that they can go down to the garden center. So we've got these 3 done. The first round always takes the longest because you're trying to figure everything out. And we've got several folks who have never done hanging baskets before. So we have, time to stop, instruct, make sure everybody understands what we're doing, the process and everything like that. First round takes the longest, and then we should really kind of start cranking them out. But hanging baskets, just by nature, take longer to do than anything else because they're more hands-on, they're more involved to do. And while we're going through a lot of plants, it takes some time. I will say that most of the time we don't enjoy doing hanging baskets, but we've gotten it down to it's literally 1 day out of the whole year we have to do hanging baskets. So, anybody can suck that up for just a little bit. So we're gonna get these hung up, and then we'll start round 2. Okay, so the conveyor line is going. They're moving. So I'll stand still so you can see. Not a fast, but not totally slow. And so they're going up. Got everybody, and then I believe it is Jackson and Jerry are the ones hanging them. So bringing them on up here, and getting them hung. So keeping them kind of separate, making sure we know exactly where they go. Try to keep the like ones together. Also because the eclipse of the sun is a more shade loving recipe. Kind of did it a little bit closer down here to the end. So we're getting those hung up there, and you can see that as Jackson is hanging them, you gotta make sure that the drippers are inside of the container, because it never fails that even like on a windy day, sometimes they will blow out. Even though they have weights, that's what this is right here, is really, it's just a weight. Water comes out, but it is truly a weight to hold these down so they don't blow out. Inevitably, they will blow out some, and so that can be a problem. It's hard to tell them when they're this little because you can't really see them that well, but once they get bigger, you always kind of know what's happening. So we got them all kind of piled up right here, separated, and then we're gonna get them all hung up. Okay, my friends, so first round of hanging baskets are all hung. This is how they will stay until it is time to take them down to the garden center and sell them. So we do keep them organized by varieties, by recipes. It just makes things a whole lot easier, right? So keep them organized that way. When it is time to take them down to the garden center, they are going to be full, they are going to be thick, they are going to be filled with flowers and absolutely gorgeous, stunning. The spacing on them that we have right now does work really, really well. And so having that double layer right up there and then down below really does work quite well. And so we get all the hanging baskets in first, of course, and then that way we can come back through and fill the floors with all of the annuals. I think mostly, well, I don't know what's going to be in here. I think mostly these are going to be garden center ones that go in the floor in here. And so we'll do that as these plants come in and take care of everything. But obviously you're going to work from top to bottom, get the ceiling done first, and then we move down to the ground. And this is one reason, well, it was the main reason why we went ahead this winter, fall, whenever that was, and had the plastic replaced, the poly of the greenhouse, because every so many years you need to replace the poly on the greenhouse, because as that poly plastic gets older, it doesn't allow as much sun in. So then your plants begin to stretch because they're reaching for the sun. So it really does affect how the plants grow if you have old polyplastic on your greenhouse. I think the average is like every 4 years that you go ahead and replace it. Last year we started to notice a little bit of the stretching of the plants. We want to grow nice, tight, compact plants, not leggy, because when they get leggy, then they're just real spindly. They don't have as many flowers on them. When you have nice, tight, compact plants, those are the beautiful ones. So the drippers, everything of course will be set on a timer. And what we will do when they're little, because that dripper can only go right there in the center, right? Because it doesn't spray, it does just actually drip. So what we have to do in the beginning is go through and hand water them. And they don't take much water because there's not that many roots, right? And it's not crazy hot temperatures. So we'll go through and hand water. Once the roots start growing and stretching out, then we can switch over to the drip irrigation. And so it's not in this greenhouse, it's the next greenhouse over. This is actually not just an irrigation system, it is a fertigation system. That means that in the next greenhouse we have it over where there is a pump, and Jerry mixes up it's honestly like it's a large trash can, massive trash can of this fertilizer concentrate. And so you can set the ratio, and so when the irrigation turns on, it's actually fertilizer water that then drips in there. So we don't have to worry about feeding the plants, like hand feeding the plants. None of our potting soil for the professional use has any kind of fertilizer in there because different plants require different amounts of fertilizer. Jerry is very particular about when he gives fertilizer to those plants and who gets what. And so he likes to control every amount of fertilizer that goes into those plants. So that is where the fertigation system comes in really well, because that, with the hanging baskets, they all are going to be those super bells, the super petunias, those kinds of plants, which are very heavy feeders, which love the fertilizer. We can also run that fertigation through the, my alarm's going off. We can also run it through the hoses. So you can see the hose on the ground. We can run those through the hoses. So when we need to fertilize those annuals that are sitting here on the floor in those grandes or the gallons or whatever size it is, we can do that as well. So it is a very good day. I know some of our folks felt like they didn't get enough done this morning. We're breaking for lunch because it's lunchtime, but so much of the prep work is imperative when we're doing these kinds of things. So everything is all set up now. Everybody's got the kinks worked out. We know what we're doing. So after this, it will really fly. And so I was like, y'all, we're not going to stress about this. We're going to get done what we get done today. If we only get hanging baskets done today, then that's a great job. Tomorrow we'll get the retail stuff taken care of, get it potted up, and then we'll move on to the online stuff. So you know, step by step, piece by piece, all will be well as far as that goes. So there is a truck coming. I have a loose German Shepherd. I need to take care of her. And yeah, so we'll just continue doing this. Once we get all done, in another video, I will show you all of them all nice and completed and hanging up here. But it's been a great morning here at Creekside getting these hanging baskets done. As always, we appreciate you. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.